Guys, welcome to Creatively Homemade. I hope you're having a great start to the new year. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Jennifer and I love to share fun and creative paper crafting projects with you. So I've been doing something a little bit different for memory keeping this year, and so I thought I would do a video about it. I am doing memory planning for 2018. I still am going to do Project Life for my kids' album, but I thought I would do something different for our family book. So this video today is going to give you a little bit of an intro on what memory planning is, what you need to do it, and how to go about it. So let's get started. So what is memory planning? Memory planning is quite simply just using a traditional planner as a way of documenting your memories. Instead of just being filled with dates and schedules and to-do lists, a memory planner also includes photographs and memorabilia and lots of journaling. It is a great way to tell the story of your day-to-day life and include things that might not make it into a traditional scrapbook. Memory planning can be as simple as just including photos in your existing planner. You can also be as elaborate and as creative as you want to be. You can include all sorts of embellishments like washi tape and stickers and pattern paper and stamping. Memory planning is a quick and easy way of documenting your memories, and it's so much fun. So let's talk a few minutes about choosing your planner. There are a lot of different brands and options out there for planners. I'm partial to the Happy Planner line, but there are certainly others that would work really well for memory planning. What you do want to get is something that you can add pages to. For example, the Happy Planner line is a disc-bound system. You can get a special punch and quickly and easily add pages and inserts to your planner, like I have done here. See, it's a hole and a slit, and that's the binding there, and you can easily put pages back in or take them out and move things around. And I found that's really helpful. You may have extra photos one week, or you may get a card in the mail you want to add to your memory planner, or things like that, just little extras, maybe a party invitation. And it's nice to be able to have a punch and be able to stick that right in there. If you're going with a traditional spiral bound planner, that's not so easy to do. So I recommend going with something that can be opened or that you can add pages to. So either choose like the Happy Planner disc bound system, or go with a ring binder type planner system that can be opened. So let's talk a little bit about sizes. There are many different sizes of planners to choose from, and it really depends on whether or not you're going to be taking a ton of pictures or have a ton to write about. I started originally with the classic size Happy Planner. It worked all well and good. I did a couple of layouts in it and I liked how they looked, but I really wanted bigger pictures. I think these pictures are like 1.5 by 2.5. Not exactly sure that that's the right measurement, but that's about the size of these pictures. And it was just a little bit too small for me, and the journaling room was kind of cramped, so I decided that if I was going to do memory planning long term, I would go with a bigger type album. However, if you don't have a lot of space, or you're just wanting to try it out and you already have a classic Happy Planner, then it works perfectly fine. You just might have to use some photo editing software to make collages for your pictures and then cut them out. So for me, this year, I am going with the big Happy Planner because I like all the room for the photos. And here I'll show you that this is the first layout I've done for January. Really happy with how it turned out. The photos are so much bigger. There's so much more room for writing. And again, I love this system because you can add pages to it and take them out. Another great option if you're wanting something a little smaller, if you think you'll have problems filling it with enough pictures or enough journaling, the Love Today planner from Stampin' Up! Would be a great option. This is on page 12 and 13 in the annual catalog. You can get the planner, and you can also get a kit that includes some page protectors and some stickers and embellishments, and this would be a good kit for starting out with memory planning as well. It is a 2-ring binder type system, so you can add things to it as well with this one. So the next thing you want to consider when you're choosing your planner is whether you're going to get one that has the dates pre-printed or if you're going to get a blank one. Now this is an example of a happy planner that is undated. This is the Flower Pop planner. This is what I bought originally to use for my memory planning, but I found it a bit tedious to put all the stickers in. These planners typically come with month and date stickers, and you have to put them all in yourself. And I started doing that, and I realized that I would much rather have it pre-printed for me. Now, the one advantage of the undated planners are you can start at any time. Your book does not have to start with January. You can start it in April or whenever you are picking this up. So it's kind of a trade-off. For me, since I was starting my book at the beginning of January, I didn't really mind going with the traditional pre-printed one. I didn't need that flexibility. So here is one where the dates are already printed, the month is already there, all the numbers are done for you, and then the numbers are also printed on the weekly pages. And I just found that was a time saver for me. Really, it's a matter of preference, and you need to consider where you're starting before you make that decision. So let's talk for a few minutes about printing photos for your memory planner. Now, you have a couple of different options, and of course the size of photos you need depends on what type of planner you're using. For the Big Happy Planner, these rectangles are 1.9 inches by 3.25 inches. And so traditional size photos don't really work. However, there are some workarounds, and I want to talk to you about that. If you don't have specialized equipment and you send your photos out to be printed to like Snapfish or Walgreens or places like that, you have the option of making collages of your photos before you print them. So this collage I made in PicMonkey. They have a collage option. You can also use Photoshop. And so I just made a collage with 4 images, and they are all 2 by 3 inches, so they fit pretty well in these boxes, as you can tell. And then you just use a paper trimmer to cut them apart. So that's a great way to continue using the print service that you're already using. You can also go a little bit more economical and do an 8.5 by 11 collage. You can get photo sticker paper. This is just regular sticker paper that I use to make embellishments, but you can get on Amazon, you can get photo sticker paper. So if you go into Photoshop and make a whole collage sheet of all your different photos for a couple of weeks and then print them up on your standard printer and then cut them apart, that is a great option as well. Now, if you don't want to go to that fuss, there are also photo printers that you can use. For the Big Happy Planner, it works really well with the Polaroid Zip or HP Sprocket printers. The size of photos that those printers spit out is the same size as these boxes, which is really, really cool. Now, I actually bought a Polaroid Zip after Christmas, but as I discovered, it only works with smartphone photos. So if you're wanting to print photos with your regular camera, that might not be the best option, and I ended up returning mine when I discovered that, because I want to be able to print pictures that I took with my Nikon as well as pictures from my smartphone. So another option, I was really happy to discover that I could use my Canon Selfie. I've already had this. I've had it for a couple of years and I really love it for printing 4x6 pictures. But I recently discovered you can get a cartridge. It's a card size cartridge, and the photos that it prints are credit card sized. So that is what I'm going to be using. These pictures are just slightly bigger than these boxes, but that doesn't really bother me. It's 2.1 inches by 3.4 inches. But the really cool thing that I found is they have sticker backings. So you just peel them off and you can stick them right down in your book and you don't have to worry about any adhesive. And the other thing I like about my Selfie is that you can print from a USB, you can print wirelessly from your phone. So this just turned out to be a really good option for me since I wanted to be able to print from my actual camera as well as my smartphone. So there's a lot of different options for printing your pictures, and a lot of what you choose depends on the size of planner you're using, the equipment you have, and your budget. So let's talk a little bit about journaling. Your memory planning pages should be a good mix of photographs and the written word. Now I wanted to say something about handwriting. I think it is very important to use your own handwriting in your pages. I know a lot of people don't like their handwriting or they think it's not good enough, but that's part of who you are and it's part of your story. So I think it's very important to use your own handwriting instead of computer generated journaling. I also wanted to mention it's really important to include the good and the bad. This particular week back in December, we had a couple of exciting things, like my daughter had a band concert and she got inducted into the National Junior Honor Society. But then we also had some bad stuff going on. We had an urgent care visit, 2 emergency room visits, and 2 kids with the stomach flu. So I included all of that. I included the good stuff and the bad stuff because it's all part of our story. One tip I have about keeping up with your journaling is to have a little mini planner. This is actually the planner I use for keeping track of our schedule and my kids' activities and church events and things like that. It's not pretty, it's not decorated, but it's very functional. And I have gotten into the habit at the end of each day to write a couple of sentences about how our day went. What went on, things we did, maybe the weather, just little notes to help jog my memory because I don't always get to doing the memory planning pages the week after they happened. So if I'm a couple of weeks behind, it's very easy to look back through this book and all my photos and say, oh yeah, and then be able to put my pages together. So there are a couple of fun techniques you can use to make your journaling stand out. One is to use bullet points. Here I've used stickers as the little bullets. If you can see, those are peppermint candy stickers, and I've used them down here. We had several things going on each day, and each little sticker denotes a different thing that was going on. So that's one way that you can kind of differentiate between different events each day. You can also use washi tape to separate your journaling. Like here, this particular day was my brother's birthday, and then my daughter had a band concert. Something else I do is to use stamping and make certain words stand out. Like for instance, last Monday I stamped New Year's Day because that was a holiday. I also, on the other side, was talking about what I was doing on my blog, so I stamped on the blog and then went on to write about what I did. So that's a good way also to add accent to your journaling and make it a little bit more interesting. So sometimes you're having a pretty slow week and you might really struggle to fill up your journaling spots. So I wanted to give you a couple of suggestions of things that you might use to fill up your spaces. One thing I like to do is keep track of funny things my kids say or do, and I will write those in my journaling spots. That's kind of fun to look back at a later time as your kids get older. Another thing I like to write is if I come across an inspirational quote or a saying. If you're a person of faith and you have a Bible verse that really speaks to you during the week, you could write that in your journaling spots. You can also include prayer request lists. Speaking of lists, you can also include currently lists. That seems to be a popular thing right now. You can include, you know, what you're currently watching, what you're currently reading, what you're currently listening to, things like that. You can also talk about your goals and your dreams. You can talk about how work is going. If you need more inspiration than that, do a quick search on Google for journaling prompts. And those are lists of questions that can kind of get your ideas flowing and give you some things to write about in your memory planner. So now that you've got your pictures printed and you know what you're going to write about, let's talk a little bit about your embellishments. Pretty much anything that you use on a regular scrapbook page can be used to embellish your memory planner. The only thing I would suggest is staying away from thicker, lumpy type items. Chipboard die cuts, buttons, enamel dots, things like that. You don't want to use in a memory planner. This paper is thinner, and so the thicker embellishments can cause it to bend or crease or create an impression in it. So just stick with flat embellishments and you'll be fine. So I thought I would show you some examples. This page is pretty much decorated with retired designer series paper. I have the Me and My Big Ideas rectangle punch that makes little rectangles that fit these spaces exactly. So this is nice to have. You can get that at meandmybigideas.com. Did embellish with a few stickers and a little bit of stamping, but mainly I let the paper be the star of this page. For my dashboard here, I used some die cuts to embellish it. I just added the year since it was the start of a brand new year. Haven't done anything with my monthly page yet, but I have plans for it. This page is mainly decorated with stickers. My kids were on had snow days several days last week, and I thought these cute snow day stickers were from Hobby Lobby were perfect. You can get these sticker books at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, any craft store. They're from Me and My Big Ideas, and they are made for the different size planners, so that's nice to have on hand. You can have a variety of stickers for all your different holidays and occasions. So this page features mostly stamping embellishments. I did use some Doodlebug Designs paper to make the little rectangles and things, but I let the stamps really be the star of this page. I used two different snowflake stamps. I used the snowflake from the Flurry of Wishes stamp set that is in the current annual catalog for Stampin' Up! And then I also used this little snowflake embellishment that was on one of the holiday sets, and I used that for my bullet points. So I thought that turned out pretty cute. So like I said, you can do a variety of types of embellishing on your memory planner pages. So the nice thing about memory planning is that you can be as simple or as elaborate as you want. I tend to go to the simple side just because I'm busy and I don't have a lot of time to do memory keeping each week. So I want to get my pages done and stay caught up. If you have more time to work on this, then by all means, be more creative if you like. Sometimes you might want to have extra things that you want to add to your memory planner. And the beauty of this disc-bound system is that it's no issue to add things. Like for example here, this was a brochure from a Christmas market that we went to back in December. So I cut out this little section and added it to some designer series paper, and then I was able to punch holes in it and add that right into my memory planner. And on the back I just added some more photos. Another option for inserts is some weeks you may have extra photos and not have a place to do anything with them, or you might have bigger photos that you want to include. And you can get, these are from Me and My Big Ideas. They are the photo inserts, and they come in a variety of different configurations. So I've used one of those here, so that's a great way to add extra photos, and you can just, those just pop right in and out just like the regular pages. I highly recommend, if you think you're going to be adding anything additional to your book, getting a punch. This is the arc punch. If you want to spend a little bit less money, you can also get the Me and My Big Ideas punch, but it won't do laminate, so keep that in mind. I wanted to create other things, so I went ahead and got the heavy duty one. And then you just put whatever you want to punch. Here's a little thing I printed off of Facebook, and I just want to add that to my album for the week. So you line that up, give it a punch, and now you've got the little holes in it, and you can add it right to your book. So pretty much anything you can add. You know, like I said, brochures, extra photos, things like that. With a punch like this, it makes it no problem to add that to your book. Now, one other thing that I like to do is I have an insert up in the front. I bought this little pocket at the office supply store, and I am using it to keep track of like extras, like this in particular. This is something I cut out of our bulletin. We're going to start a Bible study on the armor of God, so I wanted to include that at a later time. This is something I printed off of Facebook to include later. As you collect things through the week, you can go ahead and put that right in this pocket, and then you'll always have them and you won't have to go hunting for them. So that's one little tip to keep all your memorabilia in place. Now, this was a 3-ring. It was punched for 3 rings, so I just put washi tape on both sides and then punched through it with my arc punch. And that's the reason I like the arc punch over the Me and My Big Ideas one, because the Me and My Big Ideas one would not have gone through this. So if you think you're going to be punching through anything that's plasticky, go ahead and invest in the arc punch. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of my page examples and learning how that you can get started with memory planning. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them down below. I would love to hear from you. And I have linked down in the text below this video to all the supplies I've used, so you can check those out if you have any questions about those. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy crafting!